Hey, it's the Chief, Bonnie with Board Games, and Seth is going to help me do a video here, right?
Alright.
Alright. So this is part of the continuing segments with Bonding Through Board Games, which is a program my wife Liz runs through K-State. Do you like my shirt?
Yes.
It's got the Avengers on it. Now hold on. Right now we're showing Tumbling Dice. So let me lean this up a little bit so you can get a full look. Now I've done something a little bit different from some people. I've wood glued this together because normally this sits in a giant box and it's almost a puzzle piece to put together. But here's what this game is. Imagine shuffleboard on a smaller scale using dice as the item that you're launching off of this platform. And then when you launch your dice, you have to get it across. See if I can keep it in visual side here. You have to get it across this middle line. So it's got to either be on the 1 times 1 times 2 times 3 or these little times 4 areas on the board. And then what you're doing is letting the next player go, then the next, then the next, and the next, and you each have 4 6-sided dice. You then take your next turn, and so on and so on and so on until the board is littered with dice. Now, if your die falls off the table entirely, it won't score anything. If you don't get it far enough past, so it's got to come past this black line, it's a 0 as well, and it comes off. However, if you get it to come down and land, let's say on tier 2, and it's a 5, when you go to score it, it's 5 times 2, so 10 points. Now maybe that's the only one you got on the board, or somebody was brutal and when they were shuffling their dice across the board, they blew one of yours off the entire table. Fine. But you might have more than just this one die on the table. You might end up with something on tier 4. But it may have been an unlucky roll and you ended up with, say, a 1 on tier 4. So that's 1 times 4. That's 4. So you ended up with more points on the die that was on tier times 2 than you did times 4. So you'll usually play to a preset number. We like 100 in our family. You're working on rudimentary times tables because you've only got 2, 3, and 4, and you've only got 1 through 6. But hey, perfect place to start. We like to play this game with elementary kids. That's when our kids have started. And here's the other thing it's real nice for. If you come into our program, you will see this set up and ready to go. I've seen some folks wander in, they're looking around, they're seeing games they've never seen before. And maybe it's a group of 3 or 4 boys. They are awesome with this because I can bring them over, I show them that they're flicking their die onto this board and how the scoring works, and the fact that they can work defensively by knocking other players' pieces off of the game space, and all of a sudden they're off and running. I've introduced some kids to this game and they're reluctant to leave it. They like it so much. So, Tumbling Dice, it's a small, even though it's a big package for board games, I mean, think about it. A shuffleboard table's huge, it's long, and it requires sand and everything else. Nope, this is just dice, several tiers, and the flicking ability. And if you want to get crazy, I've seen some gamers step away from a 6-sided die and use a 10-sided die that even has a 0 on it. Maybe you just go up to 9 instead of using 10. Hello, you want to work on your times tables with your kids? That's the way to do it. All right, it's Bart, Bonding with Board Games, with a little to do from Bonding Through Board Games. See you guys.